Cold, wintry afternoon here at Kingsholm, and a lot for Edinburgh to do.
Very much so, Scotty. Welcome everyone to Kingsholm. We see Rossford coming out. Be interesting to see. He's come back from a calf injury, not an easy injury to get over. So if he lasts the full 80, he'll have done well. But he's a linchpin, a real leader. The team comes around him. Obviously a British Lion. We see his caps there. And they'll use him a lot today in the loose. You would expect to get that go forward for Edinburgh, because they do have an interesting game plan. They're quite loose and intuitive in the way they play, but it's their front five which are going to be crucial to dominating this game.
Well, for the home supporters, there'll always be a cheer when the captain, Billy Tweltrees, leads his team out into Kingsholm. Listen to this, and how important is this crowd going to be for the home team performance?
But it's absolutely crucial. We see here what an atmosphere. You know, this is a must-win game for Gloucester, a real chance for them to rectify their form in Europe. You know, they have a back line to match anyone in the competition. Freddie Burns, he's the key man. He not only plays on the front foot, he's got a great step. His acceleration is second to none. Also a long and short kicking game, but his one weakness, he does try and play rugby a little bit too much at times. And again, if he gets the ball on the front foot, Gloucester could really do it today.
Well, here's the Pool 6 table as it stands. That Munster victory over Perpignan just pushes them ahead, and you can just see that if Gloucester can get a win here, they're 4 points, 5 of course, 5 points if they can get 4 tries or more. And our referee in the middle, the well-kent face of Romain Poit from France. Touch judges alongside him will be Cyril Lafont and Patrick Deschambert. So just as the referee's whistle stops, the rain that's been falling for the last hour seems to have abated a little bit, and Edinburgh will be playing with the wind from right to left as you're watching on your screens. And Ben Morgan, well, he finds a great touch, and that's against the wind. Not bad for a number 8.
Yeah, good footballing ability there from Morgan. He's an impressive player. He not only gets off the base really quickly and dominates, but just look at that, great nudge. I mean, that's 50 metres on the full against the wind. So good start there for Gloucester.
Aleke Lutui, who is on Edinburgh's bench, missed 3 of his throws last week, so the line-out is good on this occasion. First look at Grayson Hart, who goes in at the 10-yard line, the scrum half, and the ball carried on by Thomas Leonardi. This Argentine has been brought back into the back row to the rested Denton, and Roddy Grant retains that open side place. So Dupree up to the 10-yard line. Now the first look at fly half of Greg Tonks. Tonks normally associated with the full-back berth in the pivotal position. Good strong driving here for Edinburgh. Up now, can they put the phases of possession together and create something out of this early thrust? Blow, loose head forward, drives again now. The Cherry Whites, the defensive alignment there, you can just see them just strung out along the pitch. Tonks feeds back in to Ben Atiga. Atiga, they got a cap as a 20-year-old for the New Zealand All Blacks, and that was his solitary cap, as it turned out to be. Wraparound move then to blindside winger of Tom Brown. So Edinburgh, that's up to 15 phases of possession now. Gloucester though going through and setting their defensive alignment. Good ball retention from Edinburgh.
Yeah, good play here from Edinburgh. Really example of their game plan. They try and break teams down by continuity as opposed to individual brilliance, as we see Jack Cuthbert take the ball up there.
Grayson Hart just caught there in the tackles as Jan Thomas tries to go in for Gloucester to upset possession. And now the 16th man, the crowd at Kingsholm, getting behind their team. Roddy Grant then drives. Slightly wider play. Atiga, Ewally shape, but that's a forward pass, is it not? So the first error on the 21st phase of possession.
Yeah, some good continuity, but not much direct momentum there for Edinburgh. As we see here, it's a very speculative pass. That's a mile forward. And, you know, when you get up to 16, 17 phases, you don't expect to still be in the same position.
Well, Edinburgh last week, there were 16 turnovers within the game, Matt, and also Edinburgh missed 19 tackles, so you can imagine what they've been working on as they've come into this back-to-back game with Gloucester in this pool. They're very, very disappointed with their performance, but keen to do something here today.
Yeah, it is, unlike Edinburgh, really, to drop off tackles. You know, their team is based around spirit and commitment, and we saw before the game in the warm-up, really hitting those bags hard. As we saw Gloucester, on the other hand, continuity was really important for them. Cleaning players out of the way to make sure they get the ball they need.
Yes, Alan Solomons, who's the head coach of Edinburgh Rugby, been brought in this season. He's always said that it's going to just take time for this team to bed down into his style of coaching, and with a thrust of new players in amongst the Edinburgh ranks, there's going to be a lot to work on as they go throughout this season.
No, stay up. Okay.
It's interesting, isn't it, Scott? You know, nowadays, so many teams are in transition. You know, Gloucester are a side that are looking to recruit in certain areas, and Edinburgh are a team that, you know, new coach and, you know, a lot going on. But it's how you deal and how you keep your performance up while you're in that transient state.
Tavis Norrell then, he'll feed the scrum. Davidjuk in that hooker position. Davidjuk comes up, suggesting that it was Ross Ford that brought it up. And a real niggle in between these two hookers. Davidjuk, the former Pirates player, born in Truro.
You keep your arms on your body, all right?
He looks Cornish, doesn't he?
No
You
words
see
after.
here, just pops up.
Yeah, we move there.
Just a bit of frustration early on in that set piece.
Well, it'll be interesting actually if this one stays down. The two front rows then, Jan Thomas on that loose head berth for Gloucester. Sean Knight, the 23-year-old.
Spine.
Young couple of props here for Gloucester, both 23 years of age. And pressure again. Davidjuk was out again, but again suggesting that it was Ross Ford who was driving up.
Tight head going up. Tight head.
It was almost inevitable that that second scrum was going to do exactly the same.
The last one, just the last one.
Yeah, both sides have one weakness. It's in that front five area. I was saying before the game, you know, this is a battle of the front five. If that area isn't quite right, you can see this game really opening up.
On va aller là pousser sur ton côté, ça va le 1? Ouais. You take the line, Black. You take the line.
And maybe an indication of the pressure coming in that scrum that it was Villeneuve on the tight head for Edinburgh sort of coming up as well.
On est à l'extérieur.
So Darren Davidjuk has the throw. There's Hudson. That's the ex-skipper at the Newcastle Falcons. Takes the ball down onto the 22. So this is the first real territory that Gloucester have had within this game. Good retention now. No. Out to Burns. This is 12 trees. The wraparound movement here from Gloucester, with Rob Cook hitting the line from fullback.
14 sitting off.
But blindside, it was Martin Thomas who'd come off from the other side. Martin Thomas straight in from an offside position, sealing off the ball on the attacker Rob Cook.
As we see here, Gloucester, they love to pull the ball behind. We see May gets involved, but Cook just running across the pitch there. It was hard for his teammate to get him behind the ball.
Well, just as Jack Cuthbert releases the relieving kick, look at the rain. It's absolutely teeming down now in Kingsholm. Cuthbert, incidentally, he played in Edinburgh's opening winning performance of this season's campaign in the Heineken Cup against Munster. Played at full-back, so he's not averse to switching positions between that wing and full-back role.
Backward, play him.
Kind of that far pass there from Grayson Hart. mopped up by Ben Atiga. Gilchrist goes to deck. And now the box kick from Edinburgh. What's the chase like? Rob Cook will have plenty of time to field this. Fancies the counter. Now Gloucester, there's a 3-on-2 out there out wide.
On the line. Backward.
Travis Noel left the ball behind.
And
And Gloucester just up towards that halfway line. Burns back in the pocket. Cuthbert will have this one well covered, he does. And the former Bathman just decides to turn one right down the middle of this ground. And Cook slipped there, but it'll be a 22. It'll be a 22 dropout. He was looking to get his foot over the dead ball line and just didn't quite get the rotation on the ball to allow that to happen.
As we see here, Rob Cook, he's just, no, he was thinking better of it really, never on. But good take from Cuthbert, a fullback for Edinburgh. It was the right kick to do, but just bounced on.
Yeah, both Martin Thomas and actually Johnny May had the wing positions well covered. Now Tonks, left footer. He has had experience playing fly half. And he was originally crossing by Travis Noel there.
Turning this way and stopping the...
Maybe allows an opportunity for Edinburgh to have an early kick at the post.
Nice up and under.
Shot.
Ooh. Kind of leaned into him, Scotty, do you think? Just like a lazy runner. Is that what they call it?
What you sometimes do in the commentary box, actually, Matt, that trying to get a word in edgeways. But no, just a stupid penalty. It's one of these ones that the coach would just tear his hairs at. It was a bit negligent from young Travis Noel. So Cuthbert, Jack Cuthbert, Scotland under-19 player, got a cap for Scotland against Ireland in August 2011, just before the Rugby World Cup. So this is what he's kicking into. He struck it well. Has he got the accuracy? Indeed he has the accuracy. A super struck penalty there from Jack Cuthbert. Pops Edinburgh into a 3-0 lead with 10 minutes on the clock.
A great nudge from Cuthbert. Yeah, personally I think he's more of a natural 15 than a winger, so he'll probably be pleased that he's back into that position. But a great nudge.
Well, he struck it well, didn't he? You saw the way that the wind that comes round the main stand here at Kingsholm, just gifted that ball and slid it in. Cuthbert then, the penalty under his belt, doesn't find touch. So this one will be covered by Rob Cook, born in Lincoln. Cook. Now Burns opts to chip. Well, the chase was on there, and Johnny May, but it was loose. Now you can hear what the Kingsholm faithful thought of that one.
Lovely little nudge here from Burns. We talked about a short kicking game, and yet just taken out there. Leonardi, May was onto it. Just gave me a little nudge as we saw the other end. Similar. Gives an opportunity to Gloucester to get some points.
Well, Freddie Burns, 13 games he's played this season. This is 112th game. He's got 955 points, so this is going to nudge him ever closer to that magic 1,000-point total. Burns then, look at the rain coming in. It is blustery, it is swirly, and you can just see that the wind affected that one as it headed towards the post. So let off for Edinburgh. And Edinburgh will want to clear their ranks here.
It really is a swirling wind though, isn't it? It's
Well, the ball was almost charged down there by Matt Kivisic. Morgan, well, he's been well tackled there, hasn't he? Willem 0. But it wasn't held in the tackle. Morgan bumped and burled. Brody Grant eventually puts a barrier in front of him. Now Burns, good play here. Trinder with the yellow boots. Up he goes. Now momentum here for Gloucester. Little pop pass in the middle. And that's the visit. Got 2 caps in England's tour of Argentina this summer. Burns always finds May. Johnny May looking for the work on the inside arc. Ian Thomas takes ball on up into the 22, so Gloucester starting to put the pressure under Edinburgh. Noyle once again. This is Burns. Burns then into 12 trees. Well, it was a red move because on the inside track was Martin Thomas. And maybe Romain Poix had something to do with that, because 12 trees couldn't find Thomas on that inside cut.
Bit loose here from 12 trees. Just wasn't really on, but some great build-up play from Gloucester. You see Freddie Burns, he's just getting outside. He's taking kind of 3 or 4 defenders out by his flatness.
Well, those two some great tries from that young man last week. In fact, one of them was voted on a tweet deck at ERC Rugby as the try of the weekend that was set up actually by Johnny May. A great 50-metre run to the try line, a switch pass onto Martin Thomas, who scored that second try, much to the delight of the travelling Gloucester support.
1. Early pushing, 1 red. Keep it steady and stable.
So Ian Thomas penalised on that occasion, ex-Bristol player. Previously he was dual registered with Moseley, and he just hit that one a little bit too quickly on Romain Poix sparse on his side. And a super clearance kick from Edinburgh, so gets them down into Gloucester territory. So 15 minutes, Matt, and what do you make of the goal? We'll just go back to the play actually. There's a quick tick-off. That was Grayson Hart who took the ball backwards, so Tonks will then drill one down, and that's a smashing kick by Tonks on the left foot. He's down into the Gloucester 22. So Matt, I was just going to ask, how do you think the game's bedding down in these conditions?
It's all about territory, isn't it? Excellent kick there from Tonks, but there's just been a few infringements on both sides. Gloucester have just shown the edge in attack. They're just trying to get outside Edinburgh, get into that Trinder 13 channel, open up May, get Burns taking it flat.
Duke to Noyle. Noyle with the box kick. Well covered by Tom Brown. Brown, who was brought into the matchday squad, having originally been listed on the bench. Rob Cook now, plenty of running in Cook. Goes for the chip play. Now this is covered by Johan Dominguez, the Argentine centre.
7 and 8.
Played well against Perpignan in the round 2 for Edinburgh. Now, there's a man over here. If they could have released that pass there from Zach van der Westhuizen.
In 10, 7 and 8 in 10 meters. Seven and 8.
Talking about territory in the game so far, you can see most of the game is in the middle third of the pitch. Edinburgh haven't really been into the Gloucester 22, but there's been more build-up play from Gloucester. They just look as though they have that little bit more pace in their backs when they do get the ball. And Edinburgh had some continuity, but not really getting anywhere, so they're playing a very, very heavy kicking game at the moment.
Well, Jack Cuthbert, he slotted over that early penalty. And this is definitely within his range. It's all about how he judges that wind blowing as he strikes this ball from left to right. Now, has he got the distance? He has, and it's up and over the bar. So 2 magnificently struck penalties from Jack Cuthbert pop Edinburgh into the lead by 6 points to 0.
Brilliant kick there from Cuthbert. To be fair, he didn't look as though he hit it the best he could. I mean, he's got a massive kick on him, but it just hits the top of the bar, and you'd have to say good judgment.
Well, I don't know if you watched on Friday night, Cardiff Blues, Rhys Patchell popped over a kick from 62 yards. It was a big strike, but that one, well, it just had the legs to creep over the bar. And there's Cuthbert there. He's looked particularly safe at fullback, I must say, and he a lot of experience, obviously, is down in Bath. He was a Bath Academy player and first picked up by Andy Robinson to get him into the Scotland setup.
Captain Red, time off.
Yeah, he's an excellent player. As we see James Hudson there, another great tactician in the line out, starting to bed themselves into that Gloucester second row.
I don't have choice afterwards.
Again, on a day like this, not an easy thing to do, link between your hooker and your second rows to get that possession, much needed possession.
And Davidjuk finds his man in the middle. This is Morgan now. Morgan with a wraparound off the back of the line out. Well tackled there by Roddy Grant, the number 7 for Edinburgh. Calafanoni, the Tongan international. This is Twelvetrees. Twelvetrees, well, he noted that Brown had come in off his wing. That was magnificent reading of the situation by Billy Twelvetrees, because as Brown came up, it was Twelvetrees who threaded the kick in, and the chase was good by Martin Thomas.
Good decision making, Billy Twelvetrees. You could just see the roll of it, didn't it? It just, he really nailed it into the ground. And again, today, it's all about decision making.
It is, and you notice how Tom Brown came up there and the well-executed grubber kick. Now Gloucester, they want to put forward under pressure here. Van der Vesthuizen, he was first to leap. Grayson Hart, born in Auckland, with a grandmother in Glasgow. So, good clearance kick there from Edinburgh. Here's Grayson Hart then, which represented Auckland Blues against the Blue Bulls in February 2009, and his uncle John Hart, the well-respected New Zealand coach, suggested that, well, why don't you go and do some travelling and extend your rugby career? And he's now over here plying his trade with Edinburgh. Noyle, well, there was space with Twelvetrees. He's up to the 22 now. Can Gloucester make something of this movement? Burns finds in the middle. Trinder slipped as he tried to go for that half gap. Forwards and ball through Jan Thomas. Noyle has to go in. Well, the two hookers are having a go at each other. It was Darren Davidjuk. But you'll notice that Darren Davidjuk just went straight in to take forward. So there's a real tete-a-tete happening between these two hookers in this match.
Cornish spirit there. He is fired up for this. Getting the opportunity to play against a British Lion gives you enough motivation to really hit every breakdown.
In the area of the ball and don't go too far away, all right? When you clean the breakdown, okay? Don't pull back.
Jan Thomas just goes and, yeah, on the wrong side, niggle. It's just niggly at the moment, isn't it? 20 minutes in.
All the little edges, the wee subplots that happen within this Heineken Cup. Edinburgh in the lead by 6 points to 0, but that one wasn't straight. They lost 3 of 12 lineouts last week, did Edinburgh. No. And it's all about, in these conditions, Matt Perry, just about cutting down the errors, because in conditions like this, it's going to be very, very difficult for both teams to execute what they've been training on all day, all week, I should say.
Yeah, it's about keeping it simple there. I mean, look at the rain coming down.
Too far away from the ball and pulling back the,
if you think about it, the great thing about rugby is, you know, we have so different functions. We have a front row, second row, back row. You know, we have a back line, we have a back three. You know, we have the line out. We have technical parts of the game, but in conditions like this, keeping it simple and just performing a simple skill to then get some possession and put it back in behind and gain the territory and make your opponents make the mistakes.
And capitalise on those mistakes. So the Packs back down once again. Willem Nel, left of your picture there, with his blow with the red scrum cap.
Set! Yes, 9!
So Noyle, he releases Morgan then. Burns was a threat. Noyle back in on the wraparound. Well, there was an opportunity to give the pass, but it was well snuffed out by Dominguez, and Morgan with his ball carrying once again up to that 22. Slightly slower ball. Calafamoni, he takes it in, the Tongan. Jan Thomas, he's been involved on a few occasions in this opening quarter. Elliot Stupin, this 20-year-old who's in the second row. Babajuk. Well, there's no surprise who he met in the tackle. Ross Ford was equal to the task. Slightly slower ball, so the pick and drive. Kevizik. It's all about trying to create some continuity. This is Burns. Burns, well, you notice he was feinting once again to get 12 trees. 12 trees has to go in to try and protect ball, but he was on the inside arc. Noyle up to Hudson now. Hudson, he's tackled there by Leonardi. So plenty of ball. 12 trees makes the hard yards.
No, not the tackle.
Babajuk is right in there to support. Kevizik. Again, good tackling in the mat row by Dupree. Now, are Gloucester going to run out of ideas as a result? Burns, well, he had to drop right back in the pocket. He's popped the up and under. Cuthbert comes up. Oh, wonderful take by Jack Cuthbert. The ball moved in the air as it went down into his mitts. And now the relieving kick by Grayson Hart. Now the counter-attack. Well, Freddie Burns, he was looking for options. Benatiga was in for Edinburgh to stop Freddie Burns at fly half on that attack. No, back to Trinder this time. Trinder puts the ball up. Bit of a kicking fest, but Tonks misses that one. He's knocked it on. Morgan's got it. So from the advantage, can Gloucester set something up here? Noyle. Well, he went for the box kick. It was covered on that far side, but the earlier infringement from Tonks will allow the scrum. And the Shed not best pleased with the choice and the decision there from the scrum half.
Yeah, he kicked it.
Look, it's a broad injury.
Kicked it right down the throat there, didn't he, of Fife? But that was all about Edinburgh defence.
I'm waiting a longer time.
You see the possession last 10 minutes. Gloucester 72%. They're trying to play the rugby.
They are trying to change the rugby. This Burns is going off through blood injury.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, even though that the percentage of possession is right up there, Gloucester haven't really threatened that try line. They haven't threatened the post with a drop goal or the penalty or forced a penalty, because Edinburgh's defence has been good.
It's been excellent. 48 tackles by Edinburgh. Where they were weak last week, they've really improved this. Just the as we see Freddie Burns here running into nowhere, and again fantastic tackling there from Attica.
Well, the experience of a certain Mike Tyndall. Now, interesting that Johnny May's got into the fly half position. Surely that's... So Tyndall's on, but Tyndall's gone to the outside centre position. May's coming to this fly half position, but I think 12 trees will probably retain fly half, but at the moment it's May.
Number 1.
Well, Noyle always likes to go and tap, but it's Morgan. He's got the opportunity. And Morgan, well, we saw him burst tackles in the autumn series for England when he scored that try against Argentina. And he's burst a tackle on this occasion. Noyle looks for options. Switches back against the grain to Johnny May. But once again, a thumping tackle from the Edinburgh defence, and Roddy Grant in this time to deny Tyndall.
Hands on.
Sean Knight trying to reset up the ball for Noyle. And Tyndall, who's the support of his hooker, well tackled by Thomas Leonardi, but it was slow from the hooker.
You can really hear the communication of the Edinburgh team from up here in the gantry. Really quick, concise communication, getting around the corner, and Gloucester are just starting to run a little bit across the field. They have had the main share of possession, but look at the points on the board. 6-0 to Edinburgh.
So 5 penalties conceded by Gloucester, but if you're in Gloucester's shoes and you've got this, well, did it find touch? Yes, it did. But if you're in Gloucester's shoes, are you worried, or do you just continue to try and play that style of rugby and hope that the Edinburgh defence is going to crack?
As part of Gloucester's game plan, you know, they won't stop playing rugby, but at the moment they're just getting hit on the gain line. There's been a couple of breaks, likes of Trinder, a couple of short kicks which they're trying to gather. But the longer the game goes on, the more they'll just have to look at playing a bit cuter, you'd say, because at the moment Edinburgh tackling well, they don't have the possession, but they're doing the simple things and they kick their goals.
Ford then finds young Grant Gilchrist, the 23-year-old. He's had 4 caps for his country. His last one was in the autumn series. So good drive here from Edinburgh. There's Roddy Grant at the back. Ball in the hands of Lucas Blow. There he is, the former Western Province and Stormers play. Ben Atiga almost got himself isolated. Grayson Hart to Gilchrist. Now Gilchrist has a thrust. Well tackled by Ben Morgan. Leonardi, the Argentine, 18 Argentina caps to his name. Ford, though, he drops the ball. Knock-on advantage being played. Now Gloucester, will they attack from deep? He's trying to eliminate the mistakes. That's going to be the key to performance. Noyle sets the platform. Back to 12 trees.
Advantage over.
12 trees. Well, Edinburgh had a real opportunity there, but Ross Ford, that man there, knocking the ball on.
In a crucial area as well. Just took his eyes off it. Needed to gather the ball first, and one thing we know about Gloucester is they get turnover ball, they can score from anywhere. Behind their post, they have the pace, they keep width on the game, and they'll try and attack any mistakes that Edinburgh have.
Well, Matt, at Murrayfield last week, Edinburgh conceded 16 turnovers, and that allowed the likes of Martin Thomas to score his 2 tries, for Johnny May to run well, for Rob Cook to run well. And we always talk about the pack of Gloucester, but it was the backs that excited the crowd at Murrayfield last week. Problems again for Gloucester. Well, it just goes to show it's a bit blustery out there, so both hookers with problems. Ford with the second one. He'll be so disappointed. The experience of that man there.
I could understand you need to.
Yeah, he's also come back from injury, and
thank you. Yeah.
not the kind of day you want to come back when it's like this at Kingsholm, with a shed at your back. But again, Edinburgh haven't been impressive in the turnovers. They look as though their discipline this week is really there.
Set!
Well, an interesting alignment for this Gloucester team. They've come out wide here onto the near side. I wonder if there's going to be a kick on. This is being guddled at the backs. Oh, it's all a little bit messy. It's all a little bit scrappy from Ben Morgan at the number 8 position.
You see here, just gets wheeled. Morgan's just fighting a losing battle there, really. He's on the back foot. He's trying to pick it up between his legs. Johnny May just throws a speculative pass back. The top sides in Europe would have nailed that scrum, kept it solid, and allow their 9 or 10 to make some good positional or territorial decisions.
Well, one of the features of this particular game is this front row exchange between Ian Thomas, Darren Daviduke, Sean Knight against WP Nell on the tight side for Edinburgh. Ross Ford and Lucas Blow. So here we go. This is it. The two hookers, big pull. Here we go. This is where all the problems are happening. Let's listen into this one.
You spend lots of time in the scrum. You are involved to get the discipline about both front rows. Other words for you guys, and keep it steady, and we could play the scrum, all right, fairly.
Well, the scrum is made to. Here's Freddie Mains at 7 stitches we hear, so not so lucky 7 for Freddie Burns, but a little bit of slap of Vaseline on top of that as well.
Just a little bit. I think that's what I try to do with my quiff. Just put loads of Vass on it and...
There we go.
Scratch.
Don't follow this fashion trend, folks, at home. There we are, yeah. It'll soon come off, Freddie.
Set!
Right, this scrum then. Now, what's going to happen? It's down on that far side. And Edinburgh went for the hit. Morgan goes for the quick tap. And May once again. You're always looking for work, Johnny May.
You stay in front, 7.
Jack Cuthbert, oh, wonderful from Jack Cuthbert. Well, sticks one right back down the tram lines again. Cook will have this one covered though. But it's Burns who decides to have the ball and returns with interest. So nice play from both teams there.
You see Burns, nice reply, but Jack Cuthbert's doing a very good job at fullback for Edinburgh. His positional play has been exceptional. He's taking everything on the full. You see the kick here from Burns. Cuthbert read it extremely well and then returns with interest. And on a day like today, a good kick is when you see your opposite number going back towards the ball.
Well, Ross Ford has missed his jumper on 2 occasions. On that occasion, it's scrappy from Edinburgh. So Grayson Hart, well, he had a look in a dart, didn't he?
Step back, too.
A little pun there, actually.
Yes, it!
Hart had a dart. Now, pick and dry. Can Edinburgh get some momentum into this movement? We saw in the opening 10 minutes their continuity was good, but they haven't quite put this Gloucester team under pressure since then. Hart to the pod led by Grant Gilchrist, this youngster who plays in the second row. Willem Nell took ball on. This is Lucas Blow. Experience, Blow, and it's just too slow for Edinburgh, and they're flopping over the top.
Holding 8 on his feet, involved as an assistant tackle.
So Dupree penalised for holding on to the ball. Burns with a good touch find now. That's up to the 22 now. If you look at the clock, 34 minutes, 6 minutes to go. Gloucester 6 points behind. Can they build something from this position?
You'd hope so. Hudson would be the main go-to. You'd want Morgan there. You see line-outs on overthrow. Gloucester have won 4, Edinburgh 5, but it's just those 2 from Edinburgh which has put them under a little bit of pressure. Just not straight in the line out from Ford, but we'll see what Gloucester do here.
Daviduke finds his man. So Morgan right on, as you suggested, to set up this drive up to the 22-metre line. Doyle right behind there. He's involved as well. This is more like a Gloucester 8, and they're splintering the Edinburgh defence. Morgan leading the charge. Gloucester, can they go over for the opening try? Penalty try here from ref Roman Pratt. In under the post it goes, because Edinburgh threw bodies at it, and a penalty try opens up the scoring for Gloucester, and that's got Kingsholm absolutely alight again.
That's the Gloucester we know, isn't it, Scotty? Literally, look at this. In terms of teamwork, they just get the ball to the back. It's just in Morgan's hands. Great work from the front 5 there. Just creating that truck and trailer, giving the space for Morgan to power through.
Well, Roman Powell was under no hesitation as players came in from offside position to deny this Gloucester drive. And look at Edinburgh, they piled in, but Watt was straight in behind the post. Well, we talked about the clock, didn't we, Matt Perry? And the extras from Freddie Main just popped Gloucester into that lead. 7 points to 6, and a crucial score with just 4 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, really crucial. Again, got slightly confused there from the headgear. It was Kalamafani. But great teamwork, and that's what the Gloucester crowd want. Something like that, just to show their pack is not dead and buried. They can play.
Well, the way that Edinburgh disintegrated, I should say, was maybe given a story for the first half, or maybe something for Coach Nigel Davis to talk about in the second half. If that worked once, it'll work again. And there's Nigel Davis, former Welsh international, of course, famous Scarlets player. Once was caretaker coach of Wales between Gowan Jenkins and Warren Gatlin's tenures. And well respected. And again, this Heineken Cup, as he mentioned last week from Murrayfield, giving his side confidence after a run of 5 losses in the Premiership.
If you look at Freddie Burns come back on, last 5 minutes, he just absolutely kicked the leather off the ball into the Edinburgh 22.
Leonardi then takes the ball up.
Away run!
Played against England for Argentina in the summer. Gilchrist. This is Grayson Hart now. He's trying to set something up. This occasion it's the box kick. Chased. But taken by Rob Cook. Burns eyes 12 trees. Trinder fancies it over the top. Interception on that far side by Joaquin Dominguez. There's Dominguez wearing that number 13 jersey. Edinburgh, can they close out the half?
No hands!
Grayson Hart goes in, then the Cornell Dupree. Latiga, he was looking for Fife on the outside. Tuggy Fife, who's hardly touched the ball in this first half. Ford makes good yards. Lucas Blow, that's all about your front 5 making yards as well. Advantage being played. Well, it suddenly throws the advantage to Edinburgh, and Edinburgh could go in with the half-time lead.
They've played a holding game, haven't they, really, Edinburgh? We see here, they haven't been dominant really going forward, and they haven't had the territory or the possession. But they've just played quite a simple game. They've won the ball well. On a couple of occasions they're past 10, 12 phases, and they have Cuthbert to kick the points, whereas Gloucester have looked a bit more sparky. As soon as they get the ball, they try those wide passes. They do have width on their game, but they're just a bit loose in terms of the continuity when they get behind teams.
Well, Jack Cuthbert, he's 26 years of age, 6'5". He's a bit of weight on him as well. Can he get the weight behind this ball? Yes, he can. So Jack Cuthbert slots his 3rd penalty of this first half of this Heineken Cup Pool 6 match. Round 4, of course, the back-to-back games. Gloucester ran out winners last week at Murrayfield. Edinburgh, with Jack Cuthbert's 3rd penalty, has just nudged Edinburgh into that slender lead, that 2-point lead.
Outside.
Hart with another box kick, but again gives plenty of time for Rob Cook to gather. Now Morgan. Back inside to Morgan. This is good running from the Gloucester number 8. Now May's been involved once. Matkevizic, well, he lost the ball there, so relief there for Edinburgh. And Greg Tonks, well, will he put an end to this first half by putting the ball out? He's put it long. And Freddie Burns will have to go back and just runs the ball out. He's had enough. He's in for his cup of tea. Well, it's been nip and tuck throughout this whole game. 3 penalties for Jack Cuthbert, matched with a penalty try converted by Freddie Burns, sees the half-time score here in this Heineken Cup match. Edinburgh 9, Gloucester 7. To win this game, they can get up to 14 points as well. And Freddie Burns, who had 7 stitches in that Henwood. So alongside me, Matt Perry. Well, Matt, what do Gloucester have to do to turn over this game and beat Edinburgh?
I think the fair reflection of the score in the first half, really. I think Edinburgh have been pretty disciplined in their approach. They played a simple game. They defended very well. And Gloucester, maybe they're going too wide. They're playing as though, you know, it's the middle of May. And they had a great kick downfield and they scored off it. So maybe they should just go to that and go from there.
Well, Sean Knight, he's going from that 10-yard line, and this is Tavis Noyle. The cut and angle from Henry Trinder, the centre. And Edinburgh's defence has been pretty good, with the one exception, from the driving line-out that Gloucester had. So maybe tactically, maybe Gloucester were a little bit naive in that first 40 minutes. But what will they have in the second 40? They're quite happy to keep spreading the ball wide. This is Rob Cook, the fullback, played for the England counties. 12 trees. Well tackled on that far side by Greg Tonks. Now Califamoni, who was in the heart of that drive from the line out that led to the penalty try. Trinder, well, he found some space in the inside shoulder of Cornell Dupree, the number 8 for Edinburgh. Tavis Noyle, slow ball to Morgan. Morgan tackled by Willem Nel. This is Hudson to Matt Kivzik. Kivzik for the line. Tackled by Grayson Hart. Ball's gone backwards. Opportunity here for Gloucester. Now, can they get it through the hands? 12 trees takes it in. Atiga with the tackle. And the King's Home faithful rise to the occasion and get behind their team. Gilchrist for Edinburgh tries to spoil the possession. Sione Califamoni, he has a drive, the Tongan international, but it's turnover ball for Edinburgh.
Offside position, no kind of offside position on the ground.
An opportunity missed there for Gloucester in this opening salvo.
There's some good build-up play again from Gloucester there, but it's just their ability when they get in behind a defence. So you see Hudson here. Kafezic just takes it up nicely, but again, the ball goes to ground. They really need to kill this off there. You know, a team, when you get in behind, you've got to try and keep the ball off the ground. As soon as it goes down, it's quite easy to defend, and Edinburgh did well. It was a good break, nice step, but again, goes to ground, just a slight lift, delayed it a little bit, and then Edinburgh able to adjust and get the hits back in on 12 trees in that position, and then obviously got the penalty.
Once they got the defensive alignment sorted out, that was what was so important. Ross Ford, you'll note how he's taken a lot of time to dry that ball. He missed 2 squint line-out throws in that first half, so this one, straight down the middle, but it's overshot. Lucas Blow went for the ball, so did Matt Kivzik. And it will be the opportunity of another error from the line-out for Gloucester to feed the scrum. Well, Gloucester have only lost one of their last 7 ERC fixtures played at Kingsholm, 31 points to 41, and to Biarritz last season in the quarter-final. So we'll be hoping for a better outcome against Edinburgh, see if they can turn the tide. Edinburgh leading through 3 Jack Cuthbert penalties in the first half. Now, we had issues in the scrum in the first half, and well, surely Tavis Noyle had an opportunity to put the ball in on that occasion.
Should have just got it in. Just get it in, get it out, especially in the conditions like this. You don't want to mess around. The scrum has not been good in this game so far on both sides.
Tavis Noyle, he has 11 Welsh caps. And that was brought back into the 7 setup by Paul John last season. and played in the Glasgow tournaments and also down in Twickenham, so he is a sharp scrum half who has been capped by his country both at 7s and 15s.
Fine. Set! Yes, 9!
Held at the back then. Another scrum, but it's come up. And another one for the Gloucester front row. And, well, that man, Darren Davidjuk, he has certainly been pumped up in that front row, hasn't he? The man who played for the Cornish Pirates and also Truro, born there.
Yep.
Proctor just coming in like that.
I will pay attention. I was on this side. I'm sure with my decision. I have a word for you guys, please. I have a word for you guys, please. Thank you.
Well, let's have another look at this one. No attempt to stay straight, says Ross Ford. And there's the squeeze, there's the turn that comes on, isn't there?
That's just immense pressure, isn't it? We see on the left-hand side, yeah, Jan Thomas. You see Davidjuk, he's fired up for this. He needs some of Freddie Burns' Vaseline, but I tell you, he is really up for this.
Do you think Jan Thomas had driven in there?
He kind of bored him again as a fullback, but it was a bore, and Gloucester were always on the front foot in that scrum.
Burns then has an opportunity to nudge his team into the lead, and he does. Great kick from Burns. That turns the tide and pops Gloucester into the lead by 10 points to 9.
Just the technique of that Gloucester front row there. Whenever a player pops up, it just shows that your technique is much lower. You're getting through, getting your power base through.
Still up to Ofisi. Ofisa, I should say, takes his time and onto the pitch. The Tongan comes, he caps to his name.
Outside, form outside.
Tavis Noyle. Fielded by Cuthbert because it went backwards, he can play on. Now Cuthbert up to the halfway line, he's given his opportunity there. Grayson Hart didn't find his man. Off the bench for Edinburgh is Alistair Dickinson, former Gloucester player, and prop forward. Hart then pops one up for Dougie Fife to chase. Fife tackles Burns, but good clearance work comes in from Gloucester to secure the ball, and Morgan at 8 will clear this ball back to May. Well, they're fancying a run from out wide, and Califamoni. Is that risky play here? Well, Gloucester willing to have a go, but that's the risk. Now Ross Ford. Oh, Ford had got the ball away to Dougie Fife. He was going to scamper in from there. Excellent tackle that came in from Billy Twelvetrees to deny Ford the pass to his winger.
Advantage over for the Racon.
The advantage is over, according to Romain Poit. It's WP now takes ball. Dupree tries to clear bodies at 8. This is Atiga. Well, he had a 2-on-1 outside him. Injury, looks like, to Darren Davidjuk. Just didn't catch Atiga. It was Tavis Noyle actually who's down. Little pop ball to Ford. Ford well wrapped up in the tackle by Buafisa. And now driving are Edinburgh up towards, but ball pinched there. Matt Kovacic pitched the ball, fielded by Jack Cuthbert though, so Cuthbert up to the 10-yard line he goes. Well, he's hit the brick wall there. Buafisa and also Davidjuk also in with the tackle as Gilchrist takes the ball up to the 10-metre line for Edinburgh. That's a clever kick. Fife now, if he gets this. Oh, very unlucky. If that ball had bounced favourably, he was in.
It came out nowhere, didn't he? The space was there. Gloucester did not see it. Just needed a lovely little bounce. Now he's chasing back for Gloucester, and it just veered the wrong way for him.
Well, that was a real chance on two occasions for Dougie Fife. First of all, the pass by Ross Ford was stopped by an excellent tackle with 12 trees, but it seemed to me that Gloucester just lost all alignment there.
Well, to be fair, it went back 3 phases before. There was an opportunity for the ball to go 70 metres downfield for Gloucester. They didn't take it. They went into midfield. They could have done the similar approach then, but then they tried to go wide. Cook dropped it, and Edinburgh took possession and moved forward from there. So, again, just some decisions by Gloucester which need looking at, especially in that 8, 9, 10. When it's on, and you naturally see in a game, when it's kind of on, just to put the pressure back on the side by a relieving kick.
Well done, Robson. He's come off the bench. Robson from Newcastle underline, Hartbury College player as well. Came off the bench against Perpignan, so he has this European experience under his belt, but it was certainly a hefty knock that Tavis Noel had taken.
Yeah, this game, intensity-wise, has really picked up, hasn't it? 10 minutes into the second half, both defences are really taking that gain line on.
Throw then taken by Gilchrist. Grayson Hart found a little bit of space. Door sort of shutting him with Darren Davidouk making a good tackle for Gloucester. Now Edinburgh, momentum here. This is Ross Ford, lazy running there from Jan Thomas. It's an advantage being played by referee Romain Poit. Now Tonks, Dougie Fife. This is Cuthbert, releases on the far side. Tom Brown. Brown brought down with a great tackle. Trinder with the cover there. The centre covering well to deny Edinburgh a try down that far side. Tonks has a little dink up to the 5-metre line. Hart then gets the ball into Ollie Atkins' hands. Atkins, who's also off the bench for Edinburgh. Well, Fisa making a nuisance of himself. This is Roddy Grant. That's the 5-metre line just there. Now Edinburgh, can they be patient? An advantage being played. The pick up and go here by Cornel Dupree, the number 8. Now opportunity here. Atiga goes for the line. Can he get over? Yes, he can. Ben Atiga for Edinburgh silences Kingsholm with a well-taken try.
Spirited play there from Edinburgh, but it all goes back to Gloucester's inability to relieve pressure from their own 22. We see some really good lines here, some great hands from Cuthbert here, just lovely, beautiful. Great defence from Trinder, gets across, but then it's just the way Edinburgh keep the ball, very composed. And Atiga comes back on a great line, an example to any centre. Came from out to in, cuts the line, no one can stop him.
So Edinburgh out to 14 points to 10 in the league. Cuthbert kept his head down well and slots the additional 2 points to extend Edinburgh's lead to 16 points to 10. This is Freddie Burns getting looked at, and concerns from an England perspective. Has this guy got a chance for the Six Nations, do you think, Matt Perry?
I think he does, without a doubt. He's a mercurial player. And with an England pack which is starting to function, he can get into the right places. At his best in attack, he stands so flat and wide, and he almost takes 3 or 4 players out of the equation. And when you have a back three that England have at the moment, you want to get the ball in their hands. But again, just the way Gloucester are playing, some decisions that are being made in that channel, in his channel, aren't the right ones at the moment.
Puafisa drop ball, and it ended up in the hands of Ben Atiga. Try scorer for Edinburgh. The advantage was over just as ball was spilt by Alistair Dickinson there. Opportunity now rests with Gloucester. This is where they want to be playing their rugby. 12 trees, slices up the opposition, finds May. May with a flat pass to Cook. Cook with a show and go up to the 22. Well tackled by Dupree. Now Morgan manages to find his prop forward, Jan Thomas. But Villanelle got hands on the ball now. Counter-attack opportunity for Edinburgh. Great hands from Tonks to Tiga. He slots the kick through. Dougie Fife chases. Well, if there's an indication the way that Edinburgh want to play this game, they have got the class in the backs.
Yeah, they do. They're running some really good lines. They're keeping their width well. Good line here from Cook. Comes back at the ball. Takes two defenders out. Jan Thomas takes it up, but again, it's just... It's good play there. But it's just that continuity and the work at the breakdown in conditions like this. If you play a game where you heavily have to resource a breakdown, it's not quite right. Balls can slip out, and Edinburgh use that to their advantage.
Davidjuk gets his name from his Ukrainian grandfather, who after World War II ended up going to Cornwall and marrying a local girl. Yeah. This young hooker, well, he's Cornish through and through. There he is. Had a great tete-a-tete, hasn't he, with Ross Ford, his more illustrious opposite number, but he's more than held his own.
Take the line, Black.
Ford with the throw, so just taking his time, getting this ball dry. The rain, thankfully, has abated. Grant Gilchrist looks on. Leonardi at the front of the line. Gilchrist takes the ball in the middle. Well, Grayson Hart, he calls his players out. Look at that, and he puts it up into the pod, and the pod working in their threes up over the 10-yard line, just trying to get some momentum back in the game. Well, Hart put the box kick in, but it was well covered by Dan Robson. Robson, the replacement scrum half, to Tavis Noyle. Now, Freddie Burns. Well, it's slightly wayward, covered by Greg Tonks. Tonks who got a cap for Scotland last summer in the match against Samoa. Was part of the quad series. He's been turned over though, and this is Morgan. So a phase of play that Edinburgh got caught out on numerous occasions last week at Murrayfield haunts them again. Now Burns, loose and wild to May. May fancies a shot. Well tackled by Donald Dupree. Played for the Southern Kings last season. Incidentally, under the tutelage of Alan Solomons, who's now obviously the coach of Edinburgh. And Solomons was disappointed last week at Murrayfield that he felt his team had had a chance. So the game very much still in the balance. 16 points to 10 in Edinburgh's favour. Grayson Hart wrapped up in the tackle by Sila Puafisa.
No hands! Push back one, push! Hey, push! Use!
Great dialogue Romain Poit has got to keep this game fluid.
Use it!
Hart, well, there wasn't much option, so he's popped one down, but it was an easy ball for Freddie Burns to gather. And Rob Cook, Cook formerly of Oakham School. You can see how tricky that wind is. But an offside against Elliot Stoop. Decision here, does I was just about to say, does Romain Poit let that go? Or does he penalise Elliot Stoop, the youngster, for being in an offside position? And with Jack Cuthbert in Edinburgh's ranks, who's kicked so well today, an opportunity for Edinburgh to extend that lead.
Again, any good team learns off what they've done well in the first half, and Gloucester scored the try from the line out, driving more, which absolutely demolished Edinburgh. And they're playing a short kicking game at the moment. You'd think just get it into Edinburgh's 22.
A short kicking game, but also a game that they're trying to run the ball from areas of the 22, from the 10-yard line, from the halfway line. And as you said, when it was so successful, that driving maul, then why not play the territory? But Edinburgh will be thankful for that, because now they've got the opportunity to extend that lead.
Yeah, this is a big kick for Cuthbert.
Now I'll push them out to ensure that Gloucester would have to score at least twice. Cuthbert He's given a good nick. He's missed that one though. He's just pulled it. You got one of those tartan tammies for Christmas on your Christmas wish list, Matt?
I can't say I have, Scotty. You got one in the back of the car?
Corner Dupree. Cuthbert pops one out. Let's Dupree chase this one. Cook has it covered. Takes it well. Now Freddie Burns, the man with no number on his shirt. To Tonks.
Stop there.
Tonks thought about maybe having a counter-attack on the left peg. Pops one up. Loose ball. Whoa. Well, if the footballing skills could match, Edinburgh may have well sniffed an opportunity there because young Tom Brown was on the outside.
Yeah, they've had a couple of opportunities, haven't they, just to field that bouncing ball. As we see here, Tonks. It's a good up and under, hangs well in the wind. Wasn't taken care of there by Burns.
Well, Ross Ford's handed over his throwing in woes to Darren Davidjuk, but it is windy conditions. It is a bit of a greasy ball. So the youngster, his 81st outing. His 81st outing in Gloucester's colours, and the first line-out loss for Gloucester. Harry Trinder is now going to be replaced. He's just had a knock actually, so this will allow Mike Tyndall to come in off the bench. So Mike Tyndall signed a one-year extension to his contract, more as a player coach, and but such a great runner. 10 years ago, Matt, England won the Rugby World Cup with that man there. Quite a thought. 10 years.
Set.
Yeah, it's gone quickly, isn't it? But he's one thing that Tyndall will bring is leadership.
We don't know if you engage or if you not.
He has a very good view, strategic of the game, and understanding what to do at the right time. And I'm sure he'll just say, look, get it down there.
Yeah, that 10-12 access between Freddie Burns and Twelvetrees, if you look at it, it could well be a midfield combination at 10-12 for England, but they need to command and tactically drive this game forward. If Gloucester are going to win and stay in touch with Munster in this group and give themselves a chance for the knockout stages. Well, Villanelle has been sent to the sin bin, and is this the turning point in this game? We're into the last quarter, 20 minutes to go. 10 of those minutes will be without that man there, the tight head for Edinburgh. Well, there's been trouble in the scrums all afternoon.
Yeah, just not setting properly, are they? Just in terms of the position. I know it's a greasy evening, but just collapsing on his knees there, and so crucial. Such an important, rich piece of possession from the set piece, the scrum, these days.
Davidjuk this time finds his man, and that man is leading. There he is, James Hudson, the 32-year-old England Saxons player up the hill. Morgan at the back, the England 8. Leading that charge. This is what we saw in the first half. This is what led to that penalty try. Now Gloucester trying to get that momentum in front of the famous King's Own shed, roaring them on. Morgan offloads onto Robson. He finds Tyndall. There was men over here with Cook on the wide outside, and the threat of Johnny Mee. It's still Mee come to Cook and Mee. Cook goes for the line. Super tackle by Dougie Fife and also Jack Cuthbert to deny Gloucester. They've got the possession though. Ball was spilt, so it's Edinburgh's ball. There'll be a whistle going for a knock-on. Advantage being played.
Use it!
So at the base, Dougie Fife will want to clear the ball. Well, he gathered his own kick, but didn't quite secure it. Cook then gets the support of May. Gloucester If they go wide, they've got men over. But, oh, catalogue of errors and a deliberate knock-on. Now Tonks looks on. Rossford just having a word with referee Platt. Let's just listen in.
Just have a word to keep the discipline up as the standard you got in the first half, all right?
So there's, well, yeah, it's a fleeing arm, isn't it? So Tonks was penalised. And the decision was through Burns and 12 trees to go for the corner. We saw this in the first half. Now, can Gloucester set the platform for the drive?
This is what they've needed right from the beginning of the second half. This kind of position to get their pack across the line.
Hudson with that experience takes it to the front. Edinburgh drive in, take the Gloucester team down. Davidjuk makes the hard yards. Dupree's in there at 8 for Edinburgh. Ford goes in, so does Grant for the tackle. Fourth phase of possession coming up then. Gloucester cramming across the side, but they're retaining the possession. They're going again. Vizic gets the support there of Jan Thomas. This is a forward-orientated effort. It's coming. It's building. Yard short. Grant in with another tackle for Edinburgh. The pick-up to Vizic. Bumped and burrowed. Edinburgh's defence utterly being stretched here. Gloucester retaining the possession and the pressure coming on in waves. The crowd are right behind this one. There's metres to go. Dan Robson throws bodies in. The pick-up by Puafisa. Puafisa goes down the right there. Well, the rings of Gloucester ring around Kingsholm. They expect, they want. Can they deliver? Well, this has been all the way from the line out. There's the far touchline, and it's been a pick and drive strategy for this Gloucester team. Can they go over in this far corner? No, they can't. Sealing off on the ball, and all that effort counts for naught. This time, Edinburgh deny Gloucester the opportunity of the try.
Oh, they made hard work of that, didn't they? You know, these conditions, the pick and go, you're always going to, on the greasy ground, you're going to get a couple of extra yards, as opposed to when it's hard, you kind of stop dead. And Gloucester had the opportunity, but again, a measure of this game, Edinburgh's defence has been excellent around the fringes, and just Gloucester have been pretty loose. You know, I respect the fact that Gloucester are still trying to play this wide game, but it's just not functioning, and they're in the tight pick and go drive, but then we're penalised for not sealing.
Well, Ben Morgan takes a drink.
1 and 7.
And it's just been hard rugby. Well, Edinburgh have lost their last 6 away games in all tournaments, whilst their only success away from home in the last 12 months. This in 13 games was a 9-7 win at Zebra in the Pro 12 way back on the 29th of March. So it just goes to show what it means to this Edinburgh team. They have reacted well. Changes. Dan Murphy comes on. And also, as we just take this penalty, we'll confirm these changes in a minute, as Greg Tonks will just clear for touch. So there's that Dan Murphy, born in Romford in Essex, ex-London Irish player.
5 men. 5 men.
And Jan Thomas going off. Matt Cox in the back row for Kivisic, and Charlie Sharples, of course. We talked about his attacking threat, and he replaces Martin Thomas, who scored 2 tries for Gloucester and
You
Murrayfield
throw the ball quicker.
last week.
If you spend your time to clean it, it's not my way. It's not my way. It came quicker. You have to throw quicker.
It's because he spends time cleaning and drying those rugby balls. But Ford, of course, you know, he's a wily character. He also knows that with his prop WP Nell Villanelle in the Sinman, Grayson Hart pops one up over that straight out. That the wind just actually lifted there. And not only did the wind lift, but the Gloucester support lifted with that error from Grayson Hart.
Take the line back.
This 25-year-old, he's played for New Zealand under 19s and 20s, but on that occasion, well, the wind was just whisked that ball straight out of play, and it hands territory and ball to Gloucester.
Yeah, another good opportunity for Gloucester to really secure this.
Hudson, he's commanded that front of the line out. On this occasion, it was Morgan who was at the front. He took the ball. The drive then comes on from Matt Cox. Cox, a former England under 20 player. Now, wide out here. The threat. Oh, Burns tackled. Dawson, Dan Robson, I should say. Well, he was shouting there, but isolated player. And the isolated player was Freddie Burns, tackled by Johan Dominguez. We've not seen much of Dominguez in the game.
Yeah, Freddie Burns, he is quick, but he takes Gloucester's team to the periphery of anyone to get there in time to secure that ball. And again, in conditions like this, when you're putting pressure on one, maybe 2 players to clean, and you've got an Edinburgh team who are just flying into that breakdown.
Well, Sione Califamoni is the injured player. It was actually Dougie Fife who got the tackle, who was supported by Dominguez on Freddie Burns. So currently both teams at 14, because on that far side the injured Gloucester player remains. Ollie Atkins takes the ball on. So this has been a tough old game. Still 13 minutes to go. Edinburgh up to their own 10-yard line. Grayson Hart, he's box kicked generally poorly, and this is into me, to Cook. Do you think this is the type of play where Cook should have maybe just hammered that downfield and got the chase, Matt Perry?
Well, it's great hindsight, isn't it, and from being up in this gantry, but there was space, bottom right-hand corner.
Well, Alex Cuthbert has fielded the ball superbly. Puts pressure under Tom Brown on that far outside. Now, can Edinburgh? They've got enough bodies there, but another great take by Jack Cuthbert, who's played well at fullback for Edinburgh today. 12 trees went in to try and dislodge ball. Pick up at the back is set through Leonardi, supported by Roddy Grant. There's Grant wearing the number 7 jersey. And Grant, well, he's put in a tremendous shift for Edinburgh. So Sione Califamoni, I think, on that far side, real concern on the far side that the player needs some medical attention. He's obviously maybe done an ankle there, the way he's shaking his head. What's the shed shouting there, Matt? I can't quite make that out. You don't know what you're doing, says... well, they're vociferous, right enough.
I presume they're talking to their home team, or... That's why I love rugby, that's why I love Gloucester, that's why I love the passion. In unison, they'll tell you what's going wrong from the sidelines. But it's good, you know, it's kind of like, but Gloucester can still win this game.
Well, you know, Edinburgh, they've certainly been rattled up north. There's been a lot of media talk that Alan Solomon's invested a number of his international players. Nick DeLuca, also Dave Denton, Greg Laidlaw, I should say, all rested for this game, and maybe a concession that they've fallen out this Heineken Cup. But as it stands, if you look at this pool with Munster in the lead, Gloucester at 9, Edinburgh at 8, you never know, there might still be something for Edinburgh to cling on, all those teams to cling on to something. And Gloucester go to Munster in round 5, but Gloucester will want to try and get on even terms with Munster. Just to correct then, Matt, it was actually Gloucester hosting Munster in round 5, so that's going to be an almighty game. But they don't want to be beaten here, but Edinburgh have been fully up for the task this afternoon.
Yeah, they have. You know, this game is not over, and I can see Gloucester, the score difference at the moment, scoring and then potentially having a kick to win it, because they do have, without a doubt, more talent. But the discipline around the Edinburgh defence this afternoon has been outstanding. Although their line-out has not gone to plan, and Gloucester's has. It's just the way they've defended out to in, especially with a Gloucester team that is continuing to play that wide game.
I'm always sorry to see a player leave the field. Sione Califamoni, of course, you'll remember his performance in the 2011 Rugby World Cup against France. He was the man of the match, but he's been replaced by Tom Hicks, somebody else who was out at the Rugby World Cup. It was Ross Ford throwing the ball in, the Scotland man. 71 caps to his name now. Edinburgh drive up through the middle. Grayson Hart goes back down the blind side. Well, he was looking for the space, looking for the support. And Atiga to Gilchrist. Pops the ball to Brown on the outside, but Brown just shuffled out by Sharples on that far side, and Sharples with a bit of urgency takes a quick one. Gloucester then attack from deep. This is 12 Trees. He opts to just pop it downfield, but Cuthbert had it absolutely covered, and he gobbled it up. Cuthbert, who's played so well for Edinburgh in the fullback position, doesn't gather ball. Oh, charge down there from Ollie Atkins, ends up in Sila Puafisa's mitts, and the kick through, chased on that far side by Sharples, and now Gloucester have that territory. Edinburgh will be back up to their full complement. Well, there's a player who went over the top. Who was that? Tonks? He's gone over the top there. I think he's all right. Just as well he didn't spill the beer there behind. Well, Freddie Burns has obviously gone up to. So let's have a look here. Tom Brown looking for treatment.
Captain, that was too dangerous. 12, Captain Red.
Well, Burns realised his mistake.
The running from the players, obviously, that was a penalty against Black, all right? But the number 10 pushed him dangerously out of above the field, and it's a penalty at 15 meters because that was too dangerous.
Well, a reverse penalty then now. Look at that clock. Edinburgh have been restored. Willem Nels come back off, but Freddie Burns, he went and pushed. So unusual these days that during the sin bin period, Edinburgh didn't leak a point, Gloucester didn't score a point. All in the balance, Matt Perry. Good 10 minutes, good Heineken Cup action today.
Yeah, this is what it's about, isn't it? This will really show the measure of Gloucester as a team. But again, just things like that in a game, just a bit of ill discipline. You gave a penalty for, then it goes against, and just releases pressure on an Edinburgh side which have played it simple, defended well.
Well, Edinburgh started their campaign. They beat Munster by 29 points to 23. They lost down at Perpignan by 14 points to 31. And then last week at Murrayfield, 12 points to 23. Now, an opportunity for Edinburgh to nail their second win in the Heineken Cup. And this would be a turnaround, especially here at Kingsholm. Ford finds his man. This is Rennie. Ross Rennie was in with Leonardi. Ross Ford then giving a lead. The captain of Edinburgh up to the 10-yard line. A definitive strategy here. They're attacking down that blind side. Oh, loud blast of the whistle here from Romain Poit. Looks as though a Gloucester player's got the bin, and that Gloucester player's going to be Ben Morgan.
No, not on his feet. You can't be. No, you can't be a tackle. A tackler.
So Gloucester are going to finish the game with 14 men, and Edinburgh with the penalty. There'll be a big kick for Cuthbert. Let's have a look here of Morgan. Well, he was in an offside position.
Yes. You can't do that.
Well, Nigel Davis, well, did you see the look that Nigel Davis gave Ben Morgan? Oh. And Jack Cuthbert. Well, Cuthbert, who has kicked very well this afternoon, only missed the one kick, three penalties in a conversion, just one missed kick. And here, an opportunity to go out beyond 2 scores for Gloucester. I don't think I've ever seen that, Matt Perry. That was just an absolute howler.
You'd ask for a mulligan there, wouldn't you? Re-tee it, but just... Oh, no.
The ball fell over, yeah. The ball fell over. I didn't see it first time. It just toppled off the tee. But as the resultant knock-on means that, look at this scrum, this attacking scrum for Edinburgh, left of the posts.
We have the mark here, all right? We keep it steady, Luca.
Well, who said this Heineken Cup rugby was boring? This is exciting. It's still in the balance. Either team could win this one. Edinburgh, could they get a famous victory? They've just won one of their last 10 Heineken Cup games, Edinburgh. And that was that one I referred to earlier, 29 points to 23 over Munster in the opening game. They didn't win a game in the Heineken Cup last year. So this would be a mighty win if they could come away. Gloucester, though, still very much within this pool.
Gloucester could score from anywhere, Scotty, couldn't they? So
well, if you got Rob Cook and the likes of Johnny May and of course Sharples, Charlie Sharples, who's been come off the bench to replace Martin Thomas.
Yes, 9.
We saw it yesterday, Munster Perpignan, 2 tries in the last 2 minutes. Pick up by Dupree at 8. Can Edinburgh get quick ball? Yes, they can. There was a massive gap for Grayson Hart to go pick and drive there, but he opted to pass the ball. This is Gilchrist now. Gilchrist to Conal Dupree. He's got across the gain line every time he's got the ball. The South African number 8 for Edinburgh. Ford, well tackled.
Use it!
Drive here from Dupree. This is Alistair Dickinson. Dickinson, well, he'd have a smile on his face if he could win. Tonks goes for the half gap. Still men out there on the left-hand side. Can Edinburgh finish off this movement? Atkins goes for the drive. 5 metres to go. Ready up to the 5-metre line. Gloucester's defence is solid at this moment in time, but it is being stretched. Villanelle goes to the deck. Hart down the blind side. Atiga drives, the try scorer from the first half for Edinburgh. This is Ford, the captain of Edinburgh. He's captain his country as well.
Use it!
The pod has been set. Edinburgh again with phased possession. Villanelle goes once again. Could this be a hammer blow for Edinburgh? Can they turn all this possession, all this territory, all this phase of possession into a try? Hart. This is Tonks. Tyndall's in there trying to upset things. Hart decides to go himself. Tackled there by Dan Robson, his opposite number, the two scrum halves.
14-11.
Again, great retention from Edinburgh. Great defence also from Gloucester. They're going to have to use the ball quickly. This is Dupree. Dupree making hard yards. Was that the knock-on? It's all about inches when you get to this level. It's all about inches. It's all about composure for Edinburgh. Alistair Dickinson has a go for the line. It's slow again for Edinburgh. The crowd have gone awfully quiet here at Kingsholm. Oh, and Villanelle, he's knocked it on as he went over the line on the 27th phase of possession. Edinburgh's prop forward knocks the ball over. That could have been a killer ball for Gloucester, but Gloucester sigh in relief. However, Romain Poit is asked to have one look at this one.
Tu peux vérifier s'il y a bien en avant du 3 noir, s'il te plaît. Can you check if there is a forward, lost forward by 3 black, please, before the rounding? Should be a scrum. Just check.
Your initial.
Jean-Pierre Pellepin, who we were talking to earlier, is the television match official from France. Matt Perry will talk you through this one. The referee's right there, he's made his decision.
The momentum, where's the ball? Is he in control?
Well, you don't have to have control to score a try, Matt. So it's whether he... This one will tell us.
You have to have your hands on it, don't you?
No, you can score it with your head, you can score it with your toe, you can score it with your pinky. What torso will do. He's lost the ball, he's gone over, but it's whether he's actually...
But if it went onto your belly, from your hands onto your belly, then rolled forward...
I'm also keeping an eye on the clock. 77 minutes and 36 seconds. Here's a decision.
Tu as une décision, Jean-Pierre? Parce que moi j'ai la mienne.
Ouais, mais prends la décision parce qu'on voit rien sur les images.
Ok. No try forward.
So there's still a chance for Gloucester. The opportunity has gone for Edinburgh.
Yeah, just felt it. He didn't have control. He lost control with the ball from his hands, and then it kind of rolled onto his stomach, which meant the try was disallowed.
Well, 27 phases of possession counts for naught. And from the restart scrum, well, what are Gloucester going to do? Do they kick long and try and get territory? Do they attack from deep?
Fine.
Very interesting.
Set. Yes, 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the backs. Freddie Burns will have an opportunity just to stick it down the touchline, gain some sort of territory. Finds his touch on the 10-yard line then. Last chance saloon for Gloucester. Crowd behind them. Well, they played well up in Moneyfield last week. Don't leave now, sir, it's not finished. The throw-in is good. Now, what have Gloucester got up their sleeves? This 12 Trees takes it up to the 10-yard line. The attacking threat of Sharples, of Cook, of Johnny May, but Tyndall, he lost ball. Counter-attack then. Was into Brown. Brown offloads. And it's an Edinburgh put-in at the line-out. So you can imagine what Ross Ford's going to do. He's going to grab that yellow towel again. He's going to dry that ball. And he's going to eat that clock. But Tyndall, well, he took his eyes off it. We've all done it, Matt.
Yeah. And you can see
the frustration.
a little bit in the second half, just You know, when the ball fell off the tee from Cuthbert, Gloucester didn't control it, and I think that has been their main problem in this game. Control of the ball, possession. They do play the wide game, but it's even more important to keep control of the ball and resource the breakdown.
Well, the control was not there at the line out, and Gloucester are away. Can they take this game? Freddie Burns up to that 22-metre line. 20 seconds to go. Good play to me. Tackling coming in now, thick and fast from Edinburgh. They just have to set their defensive alignment, trust their defensive structure. For Gloucester, they've got the attack, they've got the backs, they've got the talent.
Thank you, Biggie. Thanks. It's a ball!
Wasila Puafisa, he's been taken into the ball, but he's been held up. The choke tackle is effective from Edinburgh. Look at the clock, look at Roman Poir, the referee. Edinburgh with a historic win, and Grant Gilchrist to Alistair Dickinson, who used to play for Gloucester Rugby, celebrate a famous win in this Heineken Cup. Well, Edinburgh were absolutely on the rack at one point, but they've shown great courage by winning this game by 16 points to 10. And Matt Perry, what a wonderful game, and of course you to award the man of the match.
Yeah, I think you know, some great performances from Edinburgh. Their defence was outstanding. I think Jack Cuthbert you know, had a great game at fullback, but just in terms of the mainstay of the Edinburgh team was Roddy Grant, number 7, out and out 7. He was everywhere, not only in defence, but his work at the breakdown, his continuity play, and he's a Heineken man of the match.
Well, congratulations to Roddy Grant, and congratulations to the Edinburgh rugby team who've beaten Gloucester and reversed the tide. And let's have a look at the table now, because this is still very much alive in Pool 6. Munster lead the top of the table, and Jack Cuthbert leads his team off. James Hudson, disappointment from the Gloucester second row. Here's this table we were talking about. Munster then lead on 14 points. Gloucester next on 9, and throw a blanket off the bottom.